It is recording, so it is me. I am Steve. This is
Steve too.
Steve too. That's Matt, and so we're gonna just first of all, I would like everyone to just go ahead and partake of the beautiful hat rack that I created. Do not pay too much attention to the angry birds, but anyway, so projects, getting them done. Okay, so it was interesting. Hey, I was telling you about it. Is that yeah, come closer, like we love each other. So I was telling you about how I got that really goofy message, and actually I've been getting other goofy messages, whether they're phone messages or text messages. Well, I changed my phone number, by the way, and other things. Boundaries, man. I'm creating them. I'm creating them because there's a people who a month on after my love passes, they still believe that they need to monitor what I'm up to. So the goofiest one I got was from a guy. I think his name is a pirouetting rubber. Not pirouetting rubber is the name, and well, I don't remember the real name because I'd never seen the name before. I don't know the names of most of these people. I kept my realm separate from that realm for very specific purposes, and I think you can see exactly why. Mm. So, I just stroll around a little bit. So, the person was saying, essentially, I had no right to have these conversations that I have with Claire, and I do. They're helpful. You know, I think I explained them to you. It's that I don't want to let go of everything all at once, and the conversations we had, and the conversations she and I would have. They were wonderful. They were lovely, and it's kind of just a thing. But my spirituality, and it is my spirituality, you cannot take it from me, is that there's something after. There's always something after. And so beyond all of the misspoken truths that were flying out there from a really collusive circle jerk, it's just funny to get this and being told that the hospital dictated that I had to stop. So as you know, the Supreme Court of the United States was relocated to Presbyterian Hospital. Mm-hmm. So you just as you know. So hey, look, Tim Burton and Danny Elfman. Match made in heaven. So I don't know. I had to get beyond the giggling to get to a point where I can actually do this. But it's kind of like you and I were talking about. Like TV shows. If I'm not fond of a particular TV show, if you're not fond of a particular TV show, what do? Do you watch it? Do you go out of your way? Do you monitor this TV show week after week? A show that you don't like and that you disapprove of?
It depends, I guess.
It depends on whether the answer is no or not.
Whether it's the news feed that's capturing what's going on in the White House, in which case.
Well,
that's kind of my shit.
But that's just entertainment purposes there. And just,
Did you know that 10 seconds after President Trump left China, they sent out a fucking announcement? Their president or whatever announced that, like, see, this is why democracy doesn't work. We've got it good, people.
and
communism is where it's at.
Well, hey, and more power to him. I want some more photons, man.
Let's crazy politicize this next video.
So no, I really don't want to, because the politicizing comes strictly from something really cool called the Constitution. And that's all the politicizing that really needs to be done. Now, see, the First Amendment, which is really cool. If you have never read the Constitution, the First Amendment's pretty cool. It pretty much says, as a basic human right, I can say whatever the fuck I want to, and if you do not like a TV show, you avoid it, right? If I don't like something, regardless of whether it's TV, I avoid battery acid enemas. I'm not fond of them.
Yeah, but the only reason why the First Amendment works is because of a thing called the Second Amendment.
No, it's
which is to say everybody gets to say whatever the hell they want. And then everybody gets to own guns, too.
Well, but see, the Second Amendment brings up a really wonderful point, and I'm glad that you segued into it so nicely. If you don't like guns, don't own one.
That said, nobody uses the First Amendment.
And
only crazy people use the Second Amendment for the most part.
Well, if you don't like a gun, you don't buy one. and that's your prerogative, because that is the type of freedoms we have. Now, the First Amendment does say that I can do and say as I like, and if you don't like it, I mean, at battery acid enema, I don't like watching NPR. And listening to it, because I do not like saxophone music behind the traffic report. That doesn't, that's kind of like, the traffic's serious shit. I don't need no alto saxophone behind there. Look at my books. Lots and lots of stuff. So many books, and there is cashola to be had. And so, then of course, you can say, well, I'm going to tell you you can't do it. And then there's this thing called the 13th Amendment, which means you can't come in here and bind me down unless I pay you, and flog me with like a whip or a Bible or a Book of Mormon or something. You can't do it. The 13th Amendment says you can't do stuff like that. So there's really a thing called the Constitution. Now, I'm going to grab something off the wall here. And come sit with me, man. Come sit with me. This is really cool. I don't know if I've ever showed this to you, but I want some photons for this. Okay. So anyway, this right here is super duper cool. That is me when I had fur upon my head. It's just, it did exist at one point. I had fur upon my head, and that's my kid who just turned 3 years old. And this was at the Pennsylvania State House. Most people call it Independence Hall. They did that after the centennial. But this right here, the Smithsonian decided at the Pennsylvania State House that they were going to take all of the artifacts and take them down to Washington, or is it actually D.C.? Down to Washington, D.C. to clean up, to restore, etc. And so the whole area, look, my kid and I are standing exactly where our country was born. Hey, guess what? It's where they signed the Constitution. Oh yeah, they also signed the Bill of Rights, and that's the two of us standing. I got to see where they signed the Magna Carta as well. It's between London and Stratford on, oh God, not Mary Kay, Stratford on Avon. Fuck it, Shakespeare land, and that was very much a basis for our Constitution, but anyhow. It just amuses me to a point where I really was giggling that people Matthew, I'm an innovative lad. Is this something that you always like to go off on a whole bunch of stuff, but would you say, if you were having to go with a yes or no, would you say that I'm innovative? You can say no, and then I'll just show my deal up here that Claire got me to believe in, which is that innovation in behavioral science is pretty cool thing. But I figure out ways to help myself. When it comes to coping mechanisms, I find ways to help myself. And one of them is being able to do these sorts of videos. Now, like a TV show, like a battery acid enema, like an NPR, like I don't know. Do you think anybody would enjoy like a jackhammer colonoscopy? Because I would avoid that too. And so if I'm not fond of something, I just avoid it. I don't go there. I keep away from it. Like the ex-wife, she did me a favor. She moved 2/3 of a continent and an ocean away. That was one of the best gifts she has. I was going to be taking Claire over to England so she could see fog in December, because she really wanted, and it was also going to be Season Madness concerts and stuff. But the point being is I wouldn't go to England if not for Claire, because I would like to avoid my ex-wife as well. So what I'm saying is, if you don't like my blog, if you don't like my YouTube channel, if you're not, really that excited about it, just don't come here any longer. You have other things you can do with your life. I think one of you guys, it could be pirouetting rubber, or just used rubber. I think that perhaps there is a fugitive alert out on the guy, because there typically is, from what Claire was telling me. And it's like, man, before she met me, she could really pick him, but just, well, this guy I'm pretty certain that this guy was one of them that she would always wear her aviators around, because, sometimes it's good to cover up stuff. however that means. But if you don't like it, don't come here, because I'm going to do what I want to, and it is the First Amendment. And if you've never read the Constitution, go ahead and just read it. It's pretty exciting stuff. I actually like it quite a bit. The prohibition part is one of the funnier things that's in there. And of course, that came along with eugenics at the time too. But I'm done. That's really all I got to say about any and all of this. We're going to go out and spark up a fire and enjoy the evening. And I really want everybody out there to enjoy your evening as much as you can. It's been a month. Grieve the way you need to grieve, and I'm going to grieve the way I need to grieve. And if we don't agree with each other, let's just avoid each other. Sound good? Persona non grata. A tout à l'heure.